Y'all, today is day 3 of a 6-day water fast before I go on vacation. Your girl is struggling. But oh, do I got a good video for y'all today. Hey fasties, and if you're new, welcome. My name is Reese, and this is the Fast Track to Health, where we use fasting to lose weight, become healthy, and to maintain. In today's video, I want to give y'all some tips on how to maintain your fast if you're struggling. I've fasted plenty of times, and what I tell my husband, we always joke about, is like, the only fast that matter in the moment is the fast you're doing. It don't matter if you've done a 40-day fast in the past, 10-day fast, 11, 14-day for me. When you having mental struggles during a fast, even if you tried and true and you've been battle tested, you can still find yourself struggling. And so over the years of me fasting and using fasting as a lifestyle, especially rolling fast, I've been able to identify these mental triggers. These are the tips I found that work for me. And for all of y'all who are new to the channel, I've lost 30+ pounds using a rolling fast protocol. I did rolling 72s and rolling 48s mixed together to fit with my lifestyle. And I did that consistently from December 1st until February 5th before I was admitted into the hospital to get my gallbladder removed. That's another story for another day if you knew. There's a video that I've recorded about that. And in that time period, though, I lost 31 pounds. That 31-pound loss got me down to 155. And then in the past 6 months, I've been maintaining my weight, with the lowest weight being 149 and the highest end of that being 163. So I've been experiencing what maintenance would feel like for me, learning how to be okay with the fluctuation and having a maintenance range. My day 1 was easy. Physically, I wasn't hungry. Day 2, towards the middle of the day, that's when the struggle began, and it has not let up. It has not let up one bit, but I know how to push through and to keep going and to renew my mind. So let's jump right into the tips. If y'all see me looking down, it's because I wrote them down. I want to stay focused and on topic. And also I wanted to shout out one of my subscribers, Tamisha, because she reached out to me via email asking for tips, and this video is prompted off of me physically struggling right now, being, you know, a veteran at fasting, but also the tips that I would give to somebody who was first starting out, or myself if I didn't have this knowledge already. So firstly, submit yourself in prayer before the Lord. Like, whatever your weak areas are in your fasting journey that you know for a fact you struggle at, bring that before God, lay it down at his feet. And you're going to need to come back to this one multiple times throughout the day, multiple times throughout your journey, multiple times throughout like your fasting regimen. Using prayer to continuously refocus your mind and to submit your dependence on God is like the #1 tip that I could give anybody who's starting off on a fasting journey. I would honestly say the main difference between my attempts before and this attempt of weight loss being successful is really my dependence on the Lord in my weak areas, and continuously working on my weaknesses and knowing that the Lord will come beside you. He's good and he's patient and he's loving to hold your hand and walk with you through those difficulties and grow you. The next tip that has been really helpful for me is planning out your fasting regimen for about 4 weeks in advance, just so you could physically see it written out before you, and it gives you a map to help you navigate your fasting journey. Also, it allows you to know exactly which days your refeeds fall on, so that you can more efficiently prepare your meals and any indulgence that you might allow yourself to have. Also, it helps you know which days your refeeds fall on, and you can plan your social events around your fasting days. So for example, if you have a friend you want to go out, and y'all mostly do y'all bonding through like hanging out over a meal, you can make sure that you schedule those dates on your refeed day ahead of time, and then you have time to plan it out where the food that you're actually eating will fall in line with the goals and the desires that you have for yourself as far as your maintenance diet. Okay, I know y'all heard me say this third tip a million times if you've watched my channel at all, and that's just stay busy on your fast days. Make sure that any task that you've been putting off or that you don't want to get to, you do those or schedule them in on your fast days so you can keep yourself moving and stay busy. A lot of times I can distract myself with busyness, and not just like random busyness, but like things I actually want to get done, and then I feel accomplished because I'm getting to tasks that I've put off before in the past, that I've always wanted to get to, and I haven't just been able to find the time. And fasting just allows me to prioritize those things that are lower on my priority list and helps me accomplish things that I wouldn't normally accomplish. And then even if it's just your day-to-day, if you already got a busy day-to-day life, then just focus on the things that you have to do rather than the eating aspect or the breaks where you would have sat down or stepped away to eat. And a simple example for like me in that regard, I have 4 children. 3 of them are girls. They all have natural hair, including myself. So I would choose to do our hair, our wash day routine and regimen on a fast day. Or I would deep clean my bathrooms on a fast day. In the kitchen, I would make sure that I'm organizing my school schedule. But also, that will bring me to my next point. Pay attention to the times in which you're triggered. So one of the things I did in the beginning is I would schedule my running around with my kids on one of my fast days. But I realized that there's 2 types of running arounds I do with my kids. When I have activities to go to them and I'm in the mix, I can get out the car, I'm with the other children. When one of them have to go out, my mind is occupied. I can walk, or I can, exercise, play, teach my other children, engage in a podcast, something else while I'm taking a child or multiple children to an activity. I'm fine. That can be considered my busy. But there's other times like Cool Mind where I would drop my daughter off for tutoring, where my mind was just idle and I was just sitting in the car with my other 3 children, and it triggered me to eat because it was a moment of downtime or boredom where we were all like sitting in the car. My other 3 had tasks, quiet tasks that they had to do, and I had me time. And that's when I realized, oh, I have moments or things that trigger me to like want to indulge or like snack, and that was one of those things. That task specifically was better planned on an eat day because I've realized multiple times that I was triggered and I would fail. It was too hard for me to overcome. Nothing I couldn't rationalize. I couldn't be rational in my mind about this moment not being worth me breaking it. Like I wanted the moment, and it was the desire overwhelmed me and consumed me, and then I would break my fast. Even the times when I wouldn't break it, when I got stronger, I realized that it would be easier for me to just avoid that moment altogether than to try to be strong and use willpower to overcome it. So just to recap that, when you want to identify those moments in your day where you realize you are weak or that you fall short or you're prone to fail, and then you want to try to redirect your mind, refocus your mind, or try to avoid it at all costs. Okay, so this tip I love, and that is planning out your refeed meal in advance. If you struggle with cravings, this one is a game changer because for me, I have noticed that it allows me to like get excited about food. And that's one aspect about cravings where it takes you down this rabbit hole because you're getting excited about all these things you can't have. Well, it's like, okay, well, I'm fasting, so I can't have this food, but also it is a healthier version, a healthy option. It's something that I want to put in my body that I know is nourishing and good for me. And I get to look forward to it just in the same way in which I would a craving that is, negative. That's just like an involuntary thing that's just popping up in your brain. But you get to focus on this planned meal that you know you're going to have. So you focus on yourself on the future. And you're still thinking about food, but it's in a healthier way because it's pre-planned. So more than likely it's going to be a healthier option than whatever you would just crave if your body was like just on its own to tell you what it wants to eat. And I've noticed it replaces like the binge like cravings where you just thinking about everything that you enjoyed in the past that got you to where you wanted to be, and you get to focus on the healthiest aspects of what you going to be looking forward to. And then that helps you also when you get to the stage of maintenance, because your body just begins to enjoy those foods. Okay, my next tip is to hold yourself accountable, but don't be too harsh on yourself. So I struggle with perfectionism, and that is going to be in the rearview mirror. I'm not claiming that on me anymore, part of my personality, but I am prone to wanting to show up as best as I can. And so disappointment or failure or falling short really sticks to me hard, and it can derail my whole process, and it has plenty of times. But I'm in a new state of like stumbling upward, or learning how to fall down but get back up again. And the Bible tell you a righteous man will fall down 7 times, but he's going to get back up. That has been a game changer to me, where it's like, yeah, you might not have gone according to the plan that you had in your mind or idealized, but guess what? You can keep going. You can pick up from this moment right now, learn from the mistake, and keep going. And too many times I would fall down, fall short, and stay there. And you don't have to do that. Don't be too harsh on yourself. But also, you want to make sure you're holding yourself accountable. I wanted to say that first because, yes, you want to stick to your plan. You want to stick to your goal, especially when you know it's good for you. You want to do things that are good for you. But when you fall, none of us are perfect. You understand that, and you get back up and you keep going. That's how you get to the finish line. Imperfect consistency. Physically write out your why. The reason why I feel like this one is important is because you might know why you want to lose weight, and it might be very surface level, but I found it to be more beneficial when you write it out. One, you can go back and continue to view it in the times of need, but also you tend to go deeper when you're writing down your why for weight loss. You start to talk about internally what you're experiencing, even if your goal was prompted by like your outward appearance or the aesthetic of weight loss. But when you write it down, you might go internal and say, I don't like the way I feel, or the way I'm showing up in rooms when I'm around other people. I've been isolating myself because I don't want to be in social groups anymore because I feel uncomfortable in my skin. Whatever the reason is, I want to be healthy. I want to be around for the next generation. I want to be an active parent. I want to be an active and involved grandparent. Whatever those whys, I want to break generational curses. I don't want the same diseases that my parents or my grandparents and my family as a whole tend to have. Whatever that why is for you, make sure you write it down. It becomes visible. You can go back and see it. And when you write things down, it seems to become a bit more real. It's not just stuck in your head. Same thing as when you say things out loud. It's very real in your mind, of course, but writing it down or saying it out loud is something about those things that bring more life to the idea. And next, return to your why when you start to struggle mentally. Just like I said in the beginning, you're going to return to prayer. You return into your why. You continuously reorienting yourself and refocusing and renewing your mind on this goal that you have. And not just the goal, like the end result. Because what I've learned this time around is I found beauty in the journey more than the end result. The growth, the milestones, the lived experience in between where you started and where you're going. But you're going to have to continuously put blinders on, let go of what's not good, what's not working, what's not true, let go of the lies, and keep your focus forward. And speaking of lies, my last tip is to identify the lies that you are subconsciously believing. And you're going to have to combat them with truth. I'm a believer, and so I need to be in my word daily, for it is my daily bread. As much as I need food, I need to be pouring into myself truth and the word of God. And that's the same thing with areas in life in which we struggle. We all operate with a worldview and this mindset that drives our actions and what we do in life. And for example, one that I lived off of was that my life just wouldn't be good if I made this one sacrifice with food. And it was just very simple, but I didn't realize it until I started to like really examine and peek into my psyche in those moments. But I really felt like if I give this cupcake up while everybody else in my family are enjoying this moment, then my life is just not going to be good. Like, what am I living for? And that's when I started to realize that, oh, food is an idol in my life, where I feel like without it, my life wouldn't be good. Or I don't want to go as far as to say that it wouldn't be worth living, but it seemed dull, like gray. Like all the joy and spark in my life came from this moment right here. And sometimes food will play that role in your life. I still enjoy me some food, y'all. I still dance when I'm having me a good meal, but it got to the point where food was controlling me and I was not controlling myself. I was not able to make proper decisions when it came to food. Whatever my body wanted, whatever it craved, how much, I was giving in, and I had zero control over it because it ruled me. And that was a problem. The only person who I want ruling me, even within my marriage, is my God. Anything that goes contrary to what he say, or the truth, or how he want me to live my life, I ain't trying to do that. And if food is an idol for me, if the Lord is calling me to higher or calling me to something, like denying myself in this moment, and I can't do it because I idolize food, and that is more important to me in this moment than what my God said, that's the problem for me. If my husband, who I submit myself under as his wife, does something that's contrary to the word of God, my gaze needs to be on what God tells me to do, and I need to be following what the Lord tells me to do. And same with food. Anything that you idolize is replacing the authority, the rank, or the position that God is to hold in your life. And I'm not doing that. I've been growing in my walk, growing in my faith, and I'm not walking this walk and persevering until the end, to that day that I'm going to see Jesus Christ, for me to have food as an idol for me. And I know that there are many people out there who have this same battle. Maybe you haven't realized that that was your battle yet, but if you are coming to that realization, I'm letting you know that this battle can be fought and it can be won, because our God is victorious. And if he's calling you to put down idols and to break down strongholds, then he will help you to accomplish the end goal. So we gotta go ahead and lay that food idol down at his feet, y'all, so we can make it to the other side. This journey has been so rewarding for me this time around, not only because I'm getting like closer to the results I've always wanted, but because of the growth and the mental battles that I've had to fight. Because before, I wasn't doing the deep work that I needed, and I feel like because I have done the deep work this time around, that's getting me to the place where I wanted to be, I will be able to maintain it, because that was always my issue. I knew how to lose some weight, y'all. Now, this last couple of pounds is still hard physically, but I knew physically how to lose the weight, but mentally I wasn't trying to change anything. And so as soon as I would hit my goal or get excited about the results, I would run back to what I knew, because I was never trying to leave that behind. I was just making little sacrifices to get the goal or the result that I wanted. But I've realized this time around that the end result or the goal is just a byproduct of the different person that I want to be. I want to be a woman who cares about my health and taking care of the temple that God gave me. We only get one body in this life, and my job is to care for it. I've realized that I want to be around as much as it is in my power for the next generation, for my children. I want to be alert and involved. I don't want to be on the sidelines and allowing food to control me and be a slave to that. I've realized that I want to be a good example to my children. I've realized that not everybody get to move their body, and that is a blessing. And so when I can get up and move my body and walk and jump and run, I want to be able to do that. I've realized that I don't want to feel uncomfortable in social settings. Not even just because of what I have on, but because I feel uncomfortable in my skin. I've realized that I don't want to be sickly and laying on a hospital bed for food-related diseases that I didn't have to have. And all of those realizations have helped me to put down what's not working for me and take on new habits to becoming the new woman that I want to be in this life. And the byproduct of that is my weight loss goal. A healthier me. I really hope y'all enjoyed this video today and that it was helpful to someone. Make sure y'all engage in the comment section below. Tell me about the tips that you feel will be the most beneficial and helpful to you. Give me some tips if you got some. I want to say a thank you again to Janisha, because she is who prompted me being able to share these tips with all of you, because of her specific question on tips that I would have for her. To Janika, my girl, she has been so consistent in communicating with me, and I just don't ever want it to go without being said of how appreciative I am of you, girl. Like, you've been my day one. I feel connected to you like we know each other just through this app, and I'm very grateful for the relationship that, you know, we've been able to forge simply through me sharing my fasting journey. The Lord is good like that, where he will connect people and weave people together in life. Ultimately, he knows the reason and the end result of all of this, but I'm very grateful, and I just wanted to make sure I didn't leave this video without saying so. See y'all next time.